Are you looking to write a children's book? Well, you're in luck. Today is part 1 in how to write a children's book, finding the ideal reader. So stick around. Hey Right Writers, it's Keith Wheeler here, and if you want to continue to get all the hints, tips, and tricks on how to make self-publishing easier, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, smash that little bell icon right there, so you can get alerted each and every time I put out something new. If you're looking to write a children's book, and you want to find your ideal reader, your best bet is to do what I like to call creating a reader's avatar. Just like when you play video games, or even some social media sites where they have you create an avatar to represent yourself, you want to create an avatar that represents your ideal reader. There are 3 main elements that will help create your ideal reader avatar. Number 1, and most importantly, is gender. Generally speaking, children relate better to a main character that is the same gender as they are. So if you know in your mind that your main character is going to be a male, then your gender of your ideal reader avatar is also going to be boys. It's going to be male. Now that doesn't mean girls aren't going to read the book, but again, your main ideal reader is going to be the same gender as your main character. Now if you don't know who your main character is yet, you haven't figured that out, then what you want to do is figure out who you want to write for, males or females, and then that will be the gender of your main character. So whether you already know the gender of the character or you just know the gender you want to write to, you can figure out your ideal reader avatar. Number 2, age range. Children can relate better to a main character that is the same age as them or maybe a few years older. So if you know that your main character is going to be 14 years old, then you know that your ideal reader is going to be slightly younger than that. If you don't know the age of your main character yet, then that's fine. Figure out what age range you want to write for. And if you want to write for 8 to 10 year olds, well then you're going to want your main character to be somewhere between 8 and maybe 12 years of age. So they still have something that they can relate to. Obviously an 8-year-old is not going to be able to relate to a 14-year-old. And also you don't want to go younger because an 8-year-old isn't going to want to read a story about a 5-year-old. They don't have a lot of things in common. So again, by knowing either the age of your main character, you can figure out the age of your ideal reader. Or if you know what age you want your reader to be, what age you're targeting, then you know the approximate age of what your main character is going to be. So you can figure it out either way. And number 3, grade level. And this is closely related to the age group that you're going for, but grade level takes it an extra step. Grade level that you're writing towards is very important because while it may not drive your main character, it will drive pretty much the rest of your book, because the different grade levels that they have will determine the approximate length of your book, how complex your characters are going to be, how complex your storyline is going to be, whether you can use some profanity like with a young adult book, whereas with a middle grade book, they really don't use a lot of profanity, if any. Also, what kind of complex situations are your characters going to find themselves in? For example, again, in middle grade book, you're really not going to cover a lot about sex or violence or anything like that, whereas in a young adult book, you can do that. If you're writing for younger age kids, like chapter books, the grade level is even more important because the difference in word count for a chapter book versus a picture book is drastically different. Picture book, you may only have a couple hundred words. Chapter book can go as much as 1,000 words. So again, grade level is extremely important to figure out what grade you're going to target to create your ideal reader avatar. Holy hat, I know I just covered a whole lot of stuff in a short period of time. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. And hey, what if I told you that there was a way that you could write your first draft of your book without even writing a word? You want to learn more? Check out this video right here. Until next time, I'm Keith Wheeler, and remember to write right.